We're at the 39th and Cambie liquor store. We're here for the whiskey release. It is this Saturday, and it's always the first Saturday in November. The big deal is that they release very cool whiskeys, very rare whiskeys that obviously is sought after because we have about 40 people online now. The way it works is this first come, first served basis, which actually is a double-edged sword because it is somewhat fair. It gives anybody an opportunity to get rare whiskeys that aren't available anywhere else in the world. Most of the time, Buffalo Trace will allocate towards different states or provinces, and then they will then reallocate to their best customers. So in Canada, BC specifically, where it's a government-run distribution system, it gets to distribution, and then Joe consumer can have an opportunity to get the product. The challenge is it's now being taken advantage of. This is a line that was started by myself and fellow bartenders years ago, just a nerdy way to get products that we want when they first came out. Like we would line up Friday night after our shifts and drink beers here in the parking lot until the morning. The last couple of years, it's just got kind of out of control, as you can see. Some of the biggest problems are they're not actually being sold to people in BC who the allocation is meant for. There's a lot of people exporting them to Alberta or back to Washington or other states because they can't get them there. And the biggest problem for me is when they get resold on the black market.
I will not likely get my hands on the 20-year-old bottle either, but I may get another 15, which I'm excited about as well, and a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. And the Van Winkle line.
And it's worth 5 days camping in a parking lot?
To me. Not to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
You know, there's others. There's Eagle Rare, there's the Stags, there's E.H. Taylor, there's the Buffalo Trace collection that a lot of people like. There's the Sazeracs have a great name, and the Taylors. It is disappointing that I'm not going to be able to get the ones that I was hoping to get. Adding to the disappointment is that there are some people that are here as resellers, and that's kind of sad because that takes it out of the hands of the people who actually want it for themselves. There are people who are here as a money-making venture, and you know, to me that's a little unfortunate because I don't think that's not in the spirit of it. I don't think, but that's their version of it.
Like why is it worth camping out for 8 days for?
I'd rather not say. I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, okay. Are you getting it for someone else, or?
I didn't say that. I'd just rather not talk about it. Sorry, you're
Okay.
just kind of...
I have a brother that lives out on the West Coast. He was here last year, found out about it. Pappy's impossible to touch in the U.S. I was down in the Louisville area a couple weeks back and can't touch any of it in the U.S. So he knew about it, told me about it, and I said, hey, let's hook up next year and come spend some time. And that's what we're doing.
Tell me what your great hopes are.
Right now, we've kind of heard some things have been leaked about how many bottles, so might be on the outside looking in on some of the 23s or the 20s, but I'm looking like to get my hands on some 10, 12, and 15, so quite a successful trip I'd look at it as.
You'll never eliminate the black market illegally, right? Because we still have scalpers. Things are always going to happen that way. My preference would be that it would be limited to BC residents. Not being prejudiced, like I am American myself, so it's nothing against that side of it. But I think it should be people that reside here and are the consumers that drink it. I've lived here for 6 years. I'm a huge Buffalo Trace supporter, and I think the allocation should be for people that support it year-round.